Christopher Williamson. Do we have Mr. Williamson? No. Emmanuel Isaac. Emmanuel Isaac.
And Your Honor, Ashley Wormack on behalf of the state, I do believe that he is wanted.
Okay. There's an outstanding warrant for him?
Yes, he has not been arrested. He is codependents with position 18, so I believe that's why it's already on the calendar. He has an outstanding warrant for another cruelty against the same victim.
Okay. We'll issue a bench warrant then.
Yes, Judge.
Alexia Willis.
And Judge, this is Steffi Yellen on behalf of Mr. Willis. I'm sorry, on behalf of Miss Willis. She is now out of custody. She's listed in custody, but she has since posted bond on that unindicted D number case that she was being held on as of last week. I've taken an application from her. She does qualify for public defender services. This is going to be Mr. Chan's case going forward. We would waive arraignment, enter a not guilty plea.
Thank you.
I'm here.
He's present.
Okay. They're waiving your arraignment and they're entering a not guilty plea for you, and you are represented by the public defender. So you are free to go. Just stay in touch with them.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. Andre Anderson. Neil Clark. They filed a waiver. Kevin Marsh.
I'm in the courtroom.
I'm sorry. Oh, that's the courtroom.
Andre Anderson. I'm in the courtroom.
Oh, okay, wonderful. Thank you. Mr. Anderson. Do you have an attorney representing you?
Not at this time.
Okay. Would you like to apply for the services of the public defender? They can take an application today over the phone. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ms. Yellen, will you give him your work phone number, please?
Judge, not to interrupt, but our office has previously conflicted out of this case. It was previously assigned to Ms. Hankins, who was the prior conflict attorney before Mr. Hudson. So my
all right.
best guess is that this one's going to go to Mr. Hudson.
Okay. Mr. Hudson, there you are. Would you like to speak with him? I can't hear you. Your microphone must not be on. Mr. Hudson? Can you hear me, Mr. Hudson? If you can hear me, nod your head. Okay, I cannot hear you. So once we get that figured out, I'm going to have you talk to Mr. Anderson today to see if you can represent him, because it used to be Ms. Hankins. All right, hang tight, Mr. Anderson, okay?
Okay.
Kevin Marsh, 21. Kelvin Young.
Yes.
Oh, Mr. Marsh is here?
Yes, ma'am.
Where are you? Are you in the courtroom?
I'm in the courtroom. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, Mr. Marsh, who is your attorney?
Mr. Robert Booker.
All right, is he coming today?
I am not aware, Your Honor. I texted him, but I've not gotten a response from him.
Okay, well, he needs to reach out to us. All right, couple of things. Folks that are on video, if you are walking around, sending signals, smoking, eating, using the bathroom, I'm going to turn off your video. These are things that you cannot do if you're in the courtroom, and you're not going to be able to do them here. Also, if anybody interrupts the proceedings, they will be removed from the Zoom and they will not have the ability to log back in. Just letting you know. Okay. Mr. Marsh, can you step out and try to reach Mr. Booker, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Kelvin Young?
Excuse me, ma'am. Neil Clark is also in the courtroom.
Ah, yes. You filed a waiver. That was a waiver, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yep, you're good. You're excused.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Is Kelvin Young here?
Did you know this was the same case as position number 4?
The
Thank
state
you.
filed a null pros on position number 4, but the state is not filing a null pros on this case, Your
Okay.
Honor. Also, I wanted to just make it aware that the victim on this case is present on the Zoom call as well.
All right, is Mr. Young present? No. Okay. D. Anthony Booker, 23. D. Anthony Booker. Tony Hester.
in the courtroom.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I'm a little delayed. You are?
Anthony Booker.
Okay, Mr. Booker, good afternoon. Do you have an attorney?
No, ma'am.
Would you like to apply for the services of the public defender, or do you want to hire a private attorney?
I'll take the public defender.
Okay. Ms. Yellen, can he apply for your services if you give him a number to contact?
He can. Does the court mind if I do that out loud since he's not on the Zoom chat?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Mr. Booker, do you have a pen and paper or a phone to put down my number?
Yes, ma'am. Give me 1 second.
I can't hear, so I'm just gonna say it out
Yeah,
loud.
He said, give him 1 second.
Okay,
Okay, I'm ready now.
okay. It's 404-668-5349. If you'll just wait until the end of the calendar, call the calendar and call me then, okay?
Wait to the end of the month.
No, when I'm done calling the calendar, give her a call and she'll need to take another application from you to see if you qualify.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Tony Hester, number 24.
Your Honor, Tracy Reeves, I've previously represented Mr. Hester as a C3. I'm still on 3 of his cases that are before Judge Polk. I wasn't sure if this one needed to be transferred to that division. They are older and they're actually scheduled for a pretrial conference tomorrow.
Well, I think if they're older, they would be transferred. Can y'all look into that, please? And get with Mr. Reeves about it? Ms. Allen or Mr. Johnston?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Judge. Can you say that again? My apologies.
Apparently, Mr. Hester has some older cases that are assigned to Judge Polk. So
Okay.
it sounds like this may need to be transferred to that division.
We'll take a look at it, Judge.
Thank you. Okay. Want to go ahead and waive arraignment on this today, Mr. Reeves?
I will, Your Honor.
Okay.
And
We'll waive-
enter-
and enter not guilty plea. Okay, perfect. And then in the meantime, they'll follow up and let you know.
All right, thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Jawan Mosley, 25.
Judge, Mr. Mosley's in custody. He is still in need of C3 appointment as well. I followed up with them earlier in the week, and he is still awaiting appointment.
Okay,
It
All
was
right.
with Ms. Upshaw, but she's no longer with the office.
right. All right, I'm going to reset this so we can get another attorney appointed. Jerry Minor, position 26.
Judge, this is Steffi Yellen on behalf of Mr. Minor, who's in custody. I'd enter my appearance today, waive arraignment and enter not guilty plea, request 10 days to file motions.
Granted, thank you. 27, Anthony Bowden.
Agatha Romanowski for the state, Your Honor. This defendant is still in Connecticut custody. And we believe that his next court date is in September. So if we can reset this to maybe October, that way he might be here by then.
Okay, we'll reset this to the next arraignment after September.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Yes.
Thank you.
Kimberly Owens, 28.
This is Steffi Yellen on behalf of Miss Owens, standing in for Mr. Chan. This case is going to be his going forward. I see Miss Owens present on the call under iPhone. She's made an application and qualified, so we'd enter appearance today, enter not guilty plea, request 10 days to file motions and waive formal arraignment.
All right, granted 10 days to file motions and we'll enter the not guilty plea. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. That is all my business today. May I be excused?
Of course, thank you.
Thank you.
Sarah Hill, 29. Sarah Hill?
Yes, good afternoon, Your Honor. This is Will Moran. I filed an entry of appearance and motions on this case yesterday, which is also the day I was hired. I have not filed a substitution of counsel yet, but we will waive formal arraignment and enter a not guilty plea at this time.
Perfect. All right, and I'll give you 10 days to file motions. Go ahead and get the entry filed, and
It's already filed, both of them.
Oh, perfect.
Your Honor.
Okay, thank you very much.
Nice to see you. Maybe we'd be excused.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Take care.
You too. Brandon Nicanor Cruz.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Tracy Reeves on behalf of Mr. Nicanor Cruz. He's in custody. We would waive arraignment and enter a plea of not guilty. There is a pending bond motion, and I would just ask if Your Honor, if we could put that on the next available motions calendar.
Yep. The September 8th motions is full, so it'll have to go after that.
Okay.
Okay. Benito, get that scheduled.
Okay. And that's
Thank
all I have, if I may be excused.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And Your Honor, that's all I had as well. May I be excused as well?
Yes, thank you. And you got my email, I trust, about next week.
Yes, Your Honor. Speaking of which, he is on the docket today.
Yes.
So
I
he
saw
might
him.
need the same attorney.
All right. Well, Mr. Adams knows about the other case, so we'll see.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Elijah Bishop, 31.
Judge Steffi Yellen here. Just a brief announcement on this one. Right now, Khalil Edie is the private attorney of record. He filed a motion to withdraw on the case on August 1st.
Yes, it hasn't been signed yet, though.
It hasn't been signed yet, so we'll need an order if the court's going to allow him to withdraw.
Does he want to hire? Does he want to hire the public, or want to be represented by the public defender's office?
He does. So once that order gets signed, my intention would be going forward to enter my appearance, but we just have to wait on that order. And
Okay. Then I'll go ahead and sign the order, and after I do that, you can go ahead and enter a waiver of arraignment and not guilty plea.
We'll do.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Jason Brown, 33.
And Judge, this is Steffi Yellen standing in on behalf of Mr. Chan today for Mr. Brown. This was a re-indicted case from 19 CR 2824. The court had given, I believe, 30 days for the re-indictment. So this is just a new case, a new indictment on an older case. And
Are you going to waive arraignment and enter not guilty plea?
Correct.
We'll sort the rest out later.
Sounds good.
Thank you. All right. Anybody here not hearing their case being called? Nope. Okay. So then we just need to go through the calendar and do bench warrants, and then we will be finished. We have that other matter from this morning we need to finish up.
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
Mr. Booker, if you'd like to give me a call now, it would be a good time.
All right. We'll take a quick break then. I'll let you talk to Mr. Booker, Ms. Yellen, and then we'll do bench warrants and finish up the matter from this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We'll be in recess for 10 minutes.
Y'all see Wavy up there looking stuck on stupid. You guys, that is basically it. That was basically it. And I knew it was probably going to be a pretty uneventful thing. He basically waived his arraignment, not guilty plea. We'll be utilizing a public defender moving forward. And oh, you guys, I gotta so what happened with the eviction case, that was pretty uneventful as well, but they managed to buy themselves some time. And I guess it was a little too chaotic for the judge because Aya was representing Eligio, and Aya would basically got on the judge's nerves because she couldn't answer a question directly. The judge asked her, you know, did you live there? She's like, I'm, protecting his possessions, basically. And the judge is like, that's really not what I asked you. And then if any of y'all are familiar with Charlie with the T from BIGO, Charlie was calling himself a witness in the case as well. So the judge is like, we got all these witnesses. We got Portia Wade, who's not even sure if she lives at the residence or not. The defendant Eligio is on the phone. He's not even showing in person. And she was just like, this is going to be an in-person trial. So it will be scheduled for a future date. And I guess they bought themselves a little bit more time squatting in this poor homeowner's home. And at this point, they're just really racking up the charges because they have admitted that they haven't paid rent and apparently they can't pay the rent. So that's what's going on right now. That judge, she did not allow recording, although I did like a voiceover just of everything that she stated to them, and I'll probably drop that in its own as its own video a little bit later today. But that was one of the same judges that denied. I think that was the last judge that denied. Nope, she wasn't the last judge that denied his bond. It was the second judge, the second black woman judge that denied his bond. So she's also was overseeing the eviction case, and she is a tough cookie, and she was not having it. She don't play no games. So that case should be interesting, and hopefully, that landlord is able to get them the fuck up out of there, because they're squatting at this point, and it's just absolutely ridiculous, really. I don't know if True. I'm sure True. If True's getting a check from the military, True is probably still he's gonna get that check unless he does something crazy or drastic, and that gets him kicked out of the military. But that check is probably just buying them food. It's taking care of their weekly Whole Foods bill. Yeah, it was real quick, y'all. This was just an arraignment. This was just basically him saying whether or not he was going to plead guilty or not. That's all. So what's next after this? That's a good question. After the arraignment, let's see what happens after the arraignment. And y'all know what's crazy? I got summoned for jury duty in my county. It starts next week. So I'm a little bit excited just to see like a little part of the process. I've never been summoned for jury duty before, but it should be interesting to say the least. So what happens? Pre-trial conference will be coming up next. So at that that they may plead guilty to something else. As if they not plead, the court will set a trial. So it'll be a pre-trial conference, and then hopefully at that time the court will set a trial date. So we're moving right along, and I'm hoping that nothing prevents the inevitable from happening. I mean, as long as the DA and the prosecutor's office has all their ducks in a row, I think this should be a very interesting trial. I'm wondering if it will be a lengthy trial or not, but that remains to be seen. We'll see. Oh, definitely. There's going to be a trial. I mean, why wouldn't there be a trial? He was already indicted. The arraignment is just him telling the court whether or not he feels he's guilty or not, and then go to trial. So the trial is inevitable. There's nothing he can do right now to prevent that from happening. He will have to present all of his evidence at trial, which will, then the jury will determine his guilt or his innocence at that time. So as long as the DA is on top of it, and Janae does everything that they ask her to do or need her to do to help prosecute this case, then they should have, at least on some of those charges, it should be a pretty convincing case. As we all know, the rape charge will be the like the judge said, it's the same judge that did their eviction case this morning. She basically said at the bond hearing that's going to be her word against his, and that will be up to the jury to decide. So we'll see, y'all. Remains to be seen. I did want to bring y'all at least a little bit of it. I knew it was going to be fast. I knew it was a possibility that it would be waived, but he was in court. So he was definitely in court, and no, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Tabitha definitely will be handling this case, I think, here on out. This might be and she seems like she's in it to win it. So I hope she keeps her fire and her passion for you know, especially sexual abuse victims. You know, on the docket. She's a perfect person to be prosecuting this case, in my opinion. She's shown herself to be absolutely capable, articulate, intelligent, and everything. She seems to have all the ingredients to, you know, have the ability to carry this case out and to garner at least a few guilty verdicts. So I'm being optimistic, you know, but I'm also a person that really just, you know, if you're telling the truth, no matter what happens, you told the truth. And so that's kind of what I'm going off of. If you told the y'all, my mic went out. My bad. I don't even know where I stopped talking at, but thank you so much for sipping this tea with us this morning. Nobody's flagging. That was me, Mello. Y'all know I be trying to get it together when I do these lives, but that was that. Can you hear me now? Am I good now, Nikki? If y'all can't hear me, we may as well just wrap it up. I appreciate y'all for stopping in. I thank y'all for joining me today. We're gonna see what happens when this goes to trial. It is gonna be what it is, you guys. And regardless of what happens at trial, like I was saying before, I don't even know at what point I disconnected, but what I was saying is if you tell the truth, all you can hope for is a favorable outcome. And the reason why I've been so supportive of this particular case from start to finish is because I believe the truth was told. I specifically asked, and as much as they might want to say I had something to do with it, I really didn't. I who wouldn't want to say, you know what, I helped to stop an abusive cult leader from abusing people, even when they didn't understand that they were being abused. I can't take any credit for that. I can't. And if I was going to take any credit for it, I would more than likely be one of the people that they'd be calling as a witness to be put on the stand. And so, don't listen to the lies that people might tell or the things that people might say. You just got to go with the truth, and the truth will set you free either way. So y'all, I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of how the judge was, how the judge, what the judge said this morning at the eviction trial. It's so funny. Yeah, Charlie got it, but that live stream cannot be recorded at all. So it really doesn't matter who recorded that the eviction live stream this morning. The judge did state that IT will track you down, and from there it'll be out of her hands. In fact, I'm gonna give y'all a little tidbit of what she said this morning. So the lawyer for the landlord, I believe his name is Mr. Junker. Okay. And there were a few witnesses that showed up for there were a few witnesses that showed up for Eligio. Okay. One of them was Portia Wade, Aya. So she goes, Mr. Junker, Mrs. Wade, Mrs. Blake, Mr. Williams. I sent this case to breakout room number 2 for a mediation. And as I understand it, y'all were unable to come to a resolution. Right now, I got the tenant on the phone. We got Portia Wade, who is questionable whether or not she lives there. We got a Charlie Williams, that's Charlie with the T, who was here as a witness. We are not going to be able to have a trial on this matter, she meant today. I'm setting it for an in-person trial so the plaintiff and defendant can bring all your witnesses to an in-person trial. If y'all have any documents, exhibits that you plan on offering into evidence, you need to bring them on the date of the trial. Do not tell me you left them at home. It won't work. Mr. Junker goes on to state, Judge, this is a simple non-payment of rent. The tenant has admitted that they haven't paid the judge, that they haven't paid. The judge asks, what's your question, sir? He goes, my question is, can we please have the trial? No. She was like, I know she wanted to say hell no. She was like, no. We're setting it for an in-person trial. Miss Wade, do you have any questions? Aya was like, no, ma'am. All right. Tell Mr. Bishop he needs to show up for the in-person trial. I'm not having all these folks here and not the defendant. Mr. Junker's response. Well, the defendant is incarcerated. The judge looked at him crazy like, thank you, Mr. Junker. I'm still not having the trial. Anything else you want to put out on the World Wide Web? I was like, ooh. He was like, no, ma'am. Y'all are free to go. I understand. And then she followed that up with, I understand somebody is recording on the Zoom. Ladies and gentlemen, when I first came out, I said under Georgia law, no one is permitted to record these proceedings without prior approval from the court. Nobody has requested approval to record the proceedings. Therefore, this court has not given anyone the authority. So if you have a device that is recording, you must stop now. Otherwise, our IT department will find you and then it'll be out of my hands at that point. All right. Everybody was like, all right. So, that judge was not playing games. And I'm hoping that, just me live streaming, the little bit of what happened in this arraignment is okay. But if not, obviously I'm going to take it down. You guys, I am going to make sure that I get the proper permissions to, if they do live stream the court proceedings, to be able to record them. I'm gonna look into what goes into that, and I'm going to try to do my due diligence so that I can have a documentation of the court proceedings. So we'll see what happens, and we'll go from there. I do want to also put something out there while I'm here right now, while I'm doing this quick live stream. I want to send my most sincere condolences to and then this is how you guys will be able to know who I'm talking about. Efaru Kayla Buckner, aka Efaru. She excuse this train horn behind me, y'all. But anyway, Efaru's family suffered a devastating loss about 2 weeks ago. Her cousin, who was only 18 years old at the time, passed away. So I will be posting, with the permission of the family, his tribute video on my platform today, out of respect for the family and just, hopefully sending out so much love and so much comfort to her aunt, who is going through probably a nightmare emotionally. Is something that no parent would ever want to have to bury their child. And so this one is for Michelle. I hope I'm saying your name correctly, but I just want to send so much love out to Kayla's family, and I want them to know that I am so sorry for their loss, and I hope that they are, especially his mom. I hope Michelle is able to. I hope that she is able to, heal and be comforted by her friends and her family and his friends as well, who, set up. They were outside of the hospital for weeks. I'm not exactly sure how he passed away, but I do know that he was on life support for a few weeks. He was an athlete. He was a handsome young man who had a lot of friends. He was very popular in his school. He was going to be starting college in the fall, and he passed away suddenly, and it's devastating. It really is devastating. And she let me know what happened. His name is Josiah Williams, and like I said before, I just hopefully, guys, send out love to Michelle, her family, and that's all we can do. Put it out into the universe. He's resting in peace now, and she gained an angel and a fierce protector at that. Her son was he was an amazing athlete, and obviously a young man who planned to do some really great things in his life, and that was cut short unexpectedly. So send out the hearts and the love for that. I'm going to be dropping that video sometime later today, and yeah, I don't know. That's a wrap, y'all. It's a wrap. This is all that I have to share with y'all today. I'm going to stop sharing this screen because there's nothing else that we need to know that's going on in that courtroom right now. What happened with Mello? I missed it. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not able to see all the comments, but Mello, oh my God, Mello. What? I am so sorry to hear that. Wow. Oh my gosh. Like y'all, I feel when people experience loss, I like feel it on such a deep level. I don't know why. Probably because I've experienced loss. The loss of someone that I consider my soulmate, and so I know that, especially when it comes to familial loss, it is it's indescribable, and so it really touches me somewhere deep in my heart. And Mello, I'm so sorry to hear that. My condolences to you as well. It is deep, and it's hard. It takes so sometimes the thing about grief is that grief doesn't have an expiration date. Grief comes and goes, and one of the saddest things about loss is like it's like life goes on. When I lost my partner, I was like, one of the things about it that I realized, I was like, damn, it's crazy how life just continues happening all around you. I lost the whole summer. Like, I didn't even remember months that happened after that point. I'm like, damn, where was I at? Like, where was my head? Where was I at emotionally, mentally? And so you really got to make sure that you allow yourself to grieve. You got to make sure that you allow yourself to experience every emotion that comes to you, because it's gonna crop up, and if you reject it, or if you try to ignore it, it's just gonna be twofold, and it's gonna make it that much harder for you to kind of come to terms with. But yeah, years and years, and sometimes you never really get over it. You just understand that you have to move on, that life goes on, that there's nothing that you can really do. You mourn, you grieve, and you move on. And it's sad. And you also understand that like that's the circle of life. And it really makes you become a lot more self-aware, because it's like the same thing, it happens to all of us like one day. But that's why I try sometimes not to say like life is short, because I know that I want to live a long life, but sometimes, fate has other plans. But I try to speak life just into my existence, and that's what I learn, and just from experiencing loss. So, if any of y'all have experienced any type of loss, please know that there are people that care. Even if they don't know you, they still care. I care because I'm affected by stuff like that. I never say I'm an empath. Like I've never felt or thought that I was an empath, but I do know like the the suffering that others experience when it comes to tragedy. I feel that. And I know, I think maybe it's like I associate it with how I felt, maybe, or with how you experience deaths in your family, like your grandpa, grandma, stuff like that, sometimes older aunts and uncles and things. But when it's somebody that's gone too soon, it just hits so differently. It really does. It's like a Mack truck times infinity. So please know that there are people there for you. Reach out, speak out. Mellow, we're here for you anytime, every time. If you need to talk about it, you can reach out to us. You can reach out to me anytime. And just allow yourself to go through whatever it is that you're going to go through. Because I try to be so strong. And I think that's one of the things I kind of regret after experiencing a very personal and deep love loss, was that you gotta let yourself go through it. Don't resist it. Don't fight it, because it's gonna catch back up to you sooner or later, and you're going to have to face that particular music. You're gonna have to face it. You're gonna have to face yourself, and you're gonna have to come to terms with all of the range of emotions that comes with it. So don't be afraid to speak. Don't be afraid to weep. Don't be afraid to process, to grieve. And nobody can tell you when is the right time or not the right time. You take your time and you do what you need to, so that you can still be there for yourself, be present for your family and the people that love you. But especially, you have to be there for yourself, and you have to allow yourself grace. Really, that's what it is. So yeah, I don't know, guys. Yeah, they sure can. Yeah, it's over, Ebony. He pled, he waived it. He waived his he waived his arraignment. So the plea of not guilty was entered, and it will be going to trial. It will be going to trial. And that's that. So I'm gonna probably be ending this live soon, you guys. And something else that I'm gonna do, just so that we can all just chat. Whoever wants to, whoever resonates with each other, we can just sit in the chat and chat. I am coming up with a playlist. Y'all, I am so particular that I could have done this a long time ago, but I just want the music to be on point so that we can just vibe out. I'm trying to do like an hour long session, but y'all know how I am when it comes to my music. It's got to be the right music to set the mood, and so I am working on that so that we can vibe out and just chat about anything and everything or whatever. Yes, the one. I agree. Gotta be done in healthy ways. Gotta be done in healthy ways. Because if you do let it turn into depression, what can come after that? Hey, Rocket, what can come up after that is anger. You can start getting angry because you haven't grieved. You haven't properly grieved. And so you got to make sure that you allow yourself. Allow. Nothing is lost. You're right, Nikki. and that is one of the things that that helps me, and that I'm able to kind of, offer my, my personal advice to those who are experiencing loss, is that I do believe that energy is transformed. That's not something that the cult owns or came up with. That's something that's been around for since the beginning of time, and I do believe that energy is there. It's transformed in the spirit. So, but still, it's hard. It's still hard. Absolutely, Sarada. My mom lost her only sister about 3 years ago. All her siblings are gone now. And my mom is the only one that remains. And she's so stoic and beautiful and strong. And just, I feel like, and I pray that she stays healthy and is here for as long as she possibly can be. But I know how devastating it is to lose all of your siblings and to be the only one left. And it's really got me thinking right now. I'm definitely gonna give my mom a call after I end this live, and just to tell her how much I love her and how much I'm always gonna be there for her. Thankfully, she's got 5 kids to make sure that she's on this earth for as long as the Most High allows her to be. So that is one thing I take comfort in. But it is sad that my aunts and uncles on my mom's side are gone, and my cousins, they have to live with that every day. So yes, love to everybody who is just hanging on, and we're just doing the best that we can to live, as best as we can in this life. Rocket, I haven't seen you in ages. Oh my God. I haven't seen you in ages. I hope you've been doing good. You always show love whenever we interact, and I appreciate that about you. And I also want to thank everybody in the chat, Sarada, Nikki. I don't know who all my mods are in the chat today, but because I'm not seeing all the comments, but I just want to thank y'all for being here, and I just really appreciate y'all so much. I know that life can get kind of crazy sometimes. That's why we got to be good to each other, and we got to rely on each other when when somebody needs you. Be there for them. Just remember, as hard as it can be sometimes. That's why, like, sometimes when I'm getting off the phone with family members and stuff, you might not always say it, but when you remember to say it, don't ever hesitate. Tell them you love them. Tell them you care about them, because you never know. Sometimes it might be the last time you ever speak to them. So just let them know. Let them know. Thank you, Rocket. I've been well as well, maintaining, doing as best I can. Exactly, Rico. Treat others as you want to be treated. And when you fall short of that, goal, don't hesitate to acknowledge that you fell short and try to turn it around. I'm one person that I will apologize in a New York minute. And I know some people are sometimes like, oh, people that are always apologizing. Well, if you mean it and it's from your heart, then do it and say it and don't regret it. But then, make sure you try not to do it again. That's all you can do. That's life. Oh, thank you, Ebony. So, Mello, we got you over here. Sarada, same with you. I know you've experienced loss as well. And there are others in this chat that have also. So, just make sure you take care of yourselves and give yourselves what you need. And don't try to do it on your own if you really ain't got it in you in that moment, because it does get easier as time goes on. But obviously we never forget our loved ones. And I know for me, my loss has been, it's been 10 years now. And this was very different for me, I would say, because I didn't know anybody my age that had experienced loss. Like, I was like, I felt very isolated because it was like, wow, none of my peers or anybody have experienced this kind of loss, and I don't know who to turn to. And I really didn't, you know, even looking towards like grief counseling groups and stuff like that. I didn't do any of that at the time because I was like, what? Like, I don't, these are older people, and I'm like young, and I've kind of felt on my alone and on my own. And so that's why I speak about it now. And I say it doesn't matter what age you are, we all experience loss throughout the ages, and we gotta be there for each other because you never know what the next person might be going through as well. So yeah. Yeah. But I'm going to end this live. As much as it's hard to end these lives when y'all are just vibing out like this in the comments, I really love these vibes. I love the positivity, and I love the support for each other. And I just want to thank y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. We're going to definitely stay on top of this trial. Like I said, I will make sure that I do what I need to do to be able to, if nothing else, stream the proceedings if they allow that. Because I know the DA was saying a while back that they might not, because it's kind of, they're looking at it as, a low key, high profile case just because he's a cult leader. And as you can see, as if y'all tuned into the eviction proceedings this morning, it was a lot going on. And I mean, if you're trolling, it doesn't really help, because I mean, we could have maybe had a trial today if everybody was honest. Had Aya just been like, yeah, I live there, but I'm not on the lease. Had Eligio had his ducks in a row, it would have, they would have probably most likely been evicted today. I don't know what kind of defense they could possibly put up, because you're not paying rent, and so your landlord is footing the bill right now, and he might have his own, he might have mortgage to pay. I guess it's just wrong. It's morally wrong, because this is a whole group of people that don't work. That's the sad part about it. These people don't work. They're not even trying to get a job. So how just despicable is that? It's morally low. It's just low. So but anyway, y'all, I'm gonna peace out now. Peace and love to everyone. Thank you all for tuning in. We will be back soon. And y'all hit the like on the way out. I never asked that. I guess, but I guess it helps with the algorithm or whatever. But hit that like button on the way out. Congrats on everybody that's got good stuff going on. Happy birthday to everybody with birthdays in the house. I think Bailey has a birthday. I'm not sure. Exactly, Ray. Just straight holding it hostage is wrong. Like, if I was that landlord, I'd be livid. I would be livid. Like, you serious right now? But yeah, y'all. Have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll be back soon. Love y'all so much. And yeah, peace out.